Jakarta was always loud. The traffic, the crowds, the constant vibration of notifications. For Nara, a young travel vlogger on the Rise, life had become a series of perfectly edited moments. Likes, shares, and comments had taken over the joy of the journey. Somewhere along the way, the thrill of discovery had turned into pressure to perform. One morning, she sat quietly in her room, staring at her phone. Dozens of unread messages. Drafts of chaptions she didn't believe in. Videos waiting to be posted. And yet, her heart felt empty. Without a word, she closed every app, one by one. No goodbye. No post announcing a break. Just silence. She reached for her old backpack, the one with worn straps and a few forgotten patches from trips long ago. She packed only the essentials. A notebook, a camera without Wi-Fi, a few clothes, and a sense of surrender. That evening, Nara booked a one-way ticket to Sulawesi. No plan. No brand deal. No itinerary. Just a deep longing to feel something real again. She wasn't running away. She was going back to a version of herself she hadn't seen in years. One who wandered not for content, but for wonder. As the plane lifted off, Nara looked out the window and whispered to herself, "Let the silence begin." The first thing Nara noticed was the air. It was warm, salty, and unhurried. Unlike Jakarta, time here didn't seem to race. It floated. She arrived by boat to a small island off the coast of Sulawesi. No welcome sign. No internet bars on her phone. Just rows of wooden houses built on stilts above the sea and children lounging barefoot on the sand. A kind woman led her to a modest guest hut. No electricity during the day. No running water. And yet, Nara felt something rare. Peach. The next morning, she met Pak Jaya. He was in his 60s, skin darkened by years under the sun, eyes clear like still water. Without many words, he invited her to join him at sea. They pushed his narrow boat into the waves before dawn. For hours, they drifted. No fishing rods. Just a net, patience, and silence. Pak Jaya didn't need to speak much. His hands told stories. Of tides, seasons, storms. He read the sea the way others read books. When Nara asked why he never left the island, he smiled gently and sighed. Because everything in it is here. I just need to look. That night, Nara sat on the pier, feet dipped in the glowing water. She talked about her world. So loud, so fast. Here, she didn't need filters. The ocean didn't ask for chaptions. Leaving the island felt bittersweet, but Nara was eager to explore deeper into Indonesia's heart. Her next destination, the dense forests of Kalimantan, home to the Dayak people. As she stepped into the green canopy, the air grew cooler, the sounds richer, bird calls, rustling leaves, and distant laughter. Guided by a group of Dayak children, Nara ventured into the forest, their smiles wide and welcoming. They showed her how to climb trees, spot edible fruits, and track wild animals. More than that, they taught her to move without fear, to breathe with the earth, and to play like a child again. Away from screens and schedules, Nara felt the weight of expectations melt. Here, freedom wasn't a luxury, it was a way of life. No deadliness, no filters, no applause. Just the raw joy of being. One afternoon, as sunlight filtered through the leaves, Abau handed her a carved wooden flute. "Play," he urged. Nara hesitated, but when she blew softly, the melody echoed through the trees. Simple, imperfect, beautiful. That night, under a sky spattered with stars, the children sang old songs. Nara closed her eyes and let her voices wash over her, feeling more connected to nature, to culture, and to herself than ever before. For the first time, she understood. Sometimes, the greatest adventures are those that bring us back to freedom within. After days in the forest, Nara's journey led her eastward to the highlands of Flores, where towering volcanoes meet the sky and ancient traditions live quietly among the clouds. In a small village perched on the mountain side, she met Mbok Lina, a woman whose presence was as steady as the earth beneath her feet. Mbok Lina was the guardian of songs and stories passed down through generations, the keeper of rituals that connected the living with their ancestors. By the flicker of firelight, Mbok Lina shared tales of resilience, love, and loss. Her voice was soft but powerful, weaving history and hope into every word. Nara listened, captivated, not just by the stories, but by the way Mbok Lina carried the weight of the past with grace and strength. Mornings were spent walking through the rugged fields, the mist swirling around them like a living memory. Mbok Lina showed Nara how to honor the land, how to listen to its silent wisdom. Here, Nara found a new kind of chourage, not the flashy kind celebrated on screens, but the quiet bravery of remembering, preserving, and healing. As she prepared to leave, Mbok Lina pressed an old, worn book into her hands. "Take this," she sighed. "Our stories need voices like yours." Nara felt the flame of purpose ignite within her once more, fueled not by followers, but by meaning. Nara's journey brought her to a remote lake nestled deep in Papua's misty highlands. The water was still and dark, reflecting the towering trees and cloudy sky like a perfect mirror. Here, nature's silence was profound, almost overwhelming. A sudden storm trapped her in a small cabin by the lake's edge. For days, rain fell relentlessly, washing away the outside world and forcing Nara into solitude. At first, the silence felt heavy, filled with memories she had long tried to ignore. Fears of failure, the loneliness behind her online smile, dreams abandoned in pursuit of perfection. But slowly, as she watched the rain replete the lake's surface, Nara began to write. She poured her heart onto the pages of her notebook, unfiltered and raw. Alone with her thoughts and the endless sky, she fetched her reflections, both the light and the shadow. She shallallahu alaihi wasallam the cracks in her armor and the hope that still flickered beneath. When the sun finally broke through the clouds, the lake glistened like a promise. Nara understood that so many mess. To move forward, we must first look deeply within. This stillness had become her mirror, and in it, she found the strength to embrace her true self. The flight back to Jakarta was quieter than Nara expected. The city skyline, once a symbol of endless possibility, now seemed distant, almost foreign. Her heart had shifted in ways she couldn't fully explain. She returned with a collection of memories, stories, and a newfound respect for simplicity. No longer did she crave the spotlight or the chase for viral moments. Instead, she wanted to share something real, honest encounters, unfiltered emotions, and the soul of Indonesia's hidden corners. At home, her friends noticed the change. Nara no longer carried her camera everywhere or checked her phone obsessively. She spoke softly, listened more, and smiled from a place deeper than before. Her first video upload in month was different. No flashy edits, no dramatic music, just pure storytelling. She shared Pak Jaya's patience, the Dayak children's laughter, Mbok Lina's wisdom, and the quiet reflection by the lake. Comments poured in, not just praise, but thanks. People felt touched, inspired, and reminded of their own journeys. Nara realized that true connection wasn't about numbers or fame. It was about authenticity. About being present. Her journey through Indonesia's hidden paradise had led her back to herself. And that was the greatest discovery of all. Back in Jakarta, Nara faced a chaos. The world she had left behind was still there. Bright lights, endless notifications, the hunger for more followers. But she no longer felt trapped by it. She was free. Her new videos didn't chase trends or algorithms. Instead, they captured quiet moments. A fisherman's smile, children's games in the forest, songs beneath the stars, the charm of a mountain morning. Slowly, her audience changed. It wasn't the massive numbers she once sought, but a community that valued depth and meaning. Viewers who found inspiration, pH, and a reminder to slow down. Nara discovered that fame doesn't have to be loud to be powerful. Sometimes, the softest voices leave the deepest echoes. Her journey had shown her Indonesia's hidden paradise, both in its breathtaking landscapes and in the simple, soulful connections that make life meaningful. And as she sat by her window, watching the city lights twinkle like distant stars, Nara smiled. She had found her paradise, not just in places, but in moments, in stories, in herself. The wanderer had become a storyteller.